Today, we're going to go from this to this. Today on 4-Minute Film School, we're lighting a home studio. Let's go. In today's age, a lot of people are beginning to make content from their own homes, whether it's about filmmaking or photography or something like movie reviews. You don't have a lot of space, and you probably also don't have a lot of extra hands to help. Let's see what we can do about that. So for today's demonstration, we're actually shooting in the middle of the day inside our studio. If you were to shoot at night, you can control the light a lot more and a lot easier. We just have our fake windows with some diffusion and some black material behind it, as if we were shooting at night. Today we're using a small corner of our studio to try to represent the same space you might have to work with. The two main things to think about are what is my key light and what is my background light. For the key light, we have the 120D Mark II and the Light Dome II. On this guy, we have a sheet of diffusion and then the grid. The diffusion helps wrap the light around the subject's face, while the grid helps focus that soft light, maintaining all the light on the subject and ignoring the background. This is a really quick and easy setup that gives you a nice soft light. One thing to note about the lights we're using is we're actually just using standard light stands. No C-stands, nothing special. And we have all of our lights plugged in via AC power. For the background, you can either put up a solid color backdrop or use your own environment. This is where you can make creative choices on the look of your content. We're just going to try to light our environment. Behind me is a blank wall with a window. One thing we can try doing to create some interest is to place a light on the ground pointed up at the wall. For our background light, we're actually just using an Aperture MC. The nice thing about these guys is they can be powered or run off of a battery. And we have this guy set to 3200 Kelvin. The one problem you might run into is space. The Light Dome 2 takes up quite a lot of room. So for this new setup, we replaced the big Light Dome with the Light Dome Mini 2, just in case you don't have enough room in your home studio. Now, this isn't as big, it's not as soft as the giant Light Dome, but you can still retain a nice soft quality with the diffusion and the grid, so long as the light is placed close enough to your subject. So for an alternative for a softbox, you can use panel lights. In this case, we're using the Aperture LS1 and the Aperture Tri-8. They are incredibly thin, a great alternative to using domes. For our background light, we just have a standard household lamp attached to a dimmer. The only thing we did do was add a layer of diffusion on top of the lamp to soften the light hitting the background. So now with 3 lights, we have a pretty nice home studio. We have the key, the fill, and the background light. Time for a recap. Lighting your home studio can be extremely easy. There are 2 main things to consider. Number 1, the quality of your key light will make or break your home studio. Make sure it's a big enough source to wrap around the face evenly. Also, consider using a fill light to even out the contrast on the other side. Second, think about what's behind you. Is it a backdrop? Is it a shelf? Is it a bedroom? Think about how you can add some visual interest to your space using lighting.